Loma Linda is sponsored by Teamsters Local 1932, protecting the future of working families. Teamsters1932.org.
Hey, feeling good, like I should. When in dark, I walk around the neighborhood. Feeling blessed, never stressed. Got that sunshine on my Sunday best. Yeah.
Welcome back, everybody. Happy Sunday. You're listening to Whatever Works on KCAA 1050 AM and Express 106.5 FM, the station that leaves no listener behind. I'm your host, Sam Works.
I'm Kyle Kerrigan.
And tonight we have a guest with us here today. One of my longtime friends. He is the troublemaker, the guy who makes my life fun and miserable at the same time. Maybe not at the same time, probably like the day after you try to recover after hanging out with this guy. Anyways, super excited to have him on. We're going to be talking about a topic that's going to be broken up in a couple different categories. And Kyle, what is that topic today?
Our topic?
Yes.
That's it. That's very interesting because you definitely told me about it. I definitely remember.
Emotions.
Yeah.
But before we get into that topic, Kyle, you know what time it is.
Sponsor time. SNJRadio.com. No negative news, no politics, just feel good music.
All right, so we have my boy Isaac Moore here.
Yeah.
Isaac, say what's up.
What's up, guys? How's it going?
This is your first time on the radio?
It is.
Oh, wow.
I swear I
Yeah.
had you on before. Maybe you were like here at the station listening or something.
It might have been one of those nights that we were making a little bit of trouble and we agreed to do it, but we've never actually done it. Never
Okay,
done it.
Cool,
Yeah.
cool. So this will be your first time then?
Yes.
Awesome. Well, this is a topic of emotions, and you know, when we hang out, we definitely we talk about a lot of our emotions. Like, this is my guy who, you know, I had a long week and I'm like, hey, you want to hang out tonight? And then we just have, you know, a good time talking about a bunch of things. So I think this would be a good topic to have you come on board. You know, it's interesting that there's friends that we can hang out with and do stuff with, and then there's other friends that we can like open up with, which is really cool. So Isaac Moore is one of them. He's from Yucaipa. We're all from, well, Kyle's from Mentone.
Yeah.
Oh,
But Ooh, Cal Mesa, just kidding. But hey, before we get into those topics, I do want to talk about what happened this weekend. I thought it was pretty funny. Kyle was actually there. We went to a comedy show at the YPAC in Yucaipa, which was really cool because they were supposed to have 3 comedians there, but only 2 showed up. And each comedian, they have like a special either on like Hulu or Amazon Prime and things like that. So they don't just pick up comedians from the streets and then try to have them perform. Like, these are pretty high-end comedians, and they were pretty funny. I had a good time.
Yeah.
So
No, it was really fun time.
I wanted to share with you some of the funny moments of the comedian show. But Kyle was there too. So Kyle, what was funny of that comedian show?
Well, we got the second comedian to talk about Timmy.
Yes, Timmy was
That, yeah. Because it was his birthday. There was another person,
Elijah.
That's right. And so this guy was asking, you know, hey, I need to set up this bit. Who here has a birthday? And we're all like,
We're all
it's
pointing.
this guy,
Yeah.
point at Timmy. And then finally he's like, how old are you? He's like, 21. Timmy's like, no. 18? No. 27? Oh, you're 27? Oh, did you get Botox?
You can't guess with Timmy.
Yeah.
You can't guess
Yeah.
with him.
That was a good one.
Yeah, and then he just kept going. He was like, man, you look good for your age. He's like, I thought I looked good for my age. He's like, dude, you look like a sperm.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, dude.
He was like, you look fresh.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you guys ever met Timmy, he does look like a young lad. He has really good skin, and he's part Asian. You know how Asians, they never age. So
Yeah.
I aged because all the stuff I took in my life. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, okay.
All the fun that I had.
A little crazy.
Yeah, but no, Timmy, he looks super young. He's 27. Shout out to him. And yeah, he gets that all the time. But I thought it was really funny because if you guys ever had a conversation with Timmy, like, he mumbles a lot, right?
Yeah.
Definitely.
And when the guy was asking him, hey, how old are you, 22, 18, whatever, when Timmy was going to respond, I was sitting right next to him. He had to clear his throat because he knew that he had to like speak up, you know?
Yeah.
And yeah, so it was a great time.
Yeah.
So now we can get back to the topic. I just wanted to talk about that. I thought it was pretty funny. But yeah, they do a comedy show once a month, I believe.
That's funny because I'd never even heard of that, and I live in Yucaipa. So
Honestly,
Hey, yeah, it was the first time for us too.
yeah, it
So-
really was. My mom was like, hey, it's Timmy's birthday. What should we do? She's like, oh, I got us tickets to a comedy show. And I was like, what does Timmy want to do? I was like, that's what you want to do, Mom. I don't know what he wants to do. But,
Yeah.
you know, Timmy, he wants to go do some crazy stuff and get hurt. So I don't think we all want to join in on that.
Yeah.
yeah.
You know?
Well, we all went to September's for him, so.
We did go
Yeah.
to September's, which was pretty cool. My first time there. Have you been to September's?
I have only once though, but it's
Yeah.
a pretty cool place.
Yeah. Isaac, he loves going to Cludes.
Yeah, Clues. I'm actually
Clues is dope.
I'm actually working there now.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah,
Okay.
I actually started about like 2 weeks ago or so, and
Okay.
they're opening up a new location in Oak Glen, so they have me working up there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the grand opening, soft opening, it's gonna be
Yeah.
sometime next week. So if you're in
Okay.
Oak Glen, check it out.
looks like the whatever works crew is gonna be there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Definitely.
sometime next week, check it out.
Okay.
Yeah,
Sounds good. Are you a
Awesome.
bartender or what are you?
I'm one of the head cooks.
Oh, head
Yeah,
cook.
So I'll be cooking the
Head
food for you guys.
cook, bro.
Okay. We're
Yeah.
definitely going to be getting some food.
Yes, sir. So, if you guys are just tuning in, it's just 10 minutes past the hour. You listen to whatever works on KCAA. We are going to be talking about emotions. And there's a couple emotions that I want to bring up and talk about and, you know, discuss them, the pros and cons between all of them. It is going to it's going to be a little difficult to find the pros of some of these emotions. This is all on top of our heads. This is not,
Yeah.
we're not, you know.
I think there's a pro to every emotion.
All right. Well, let's talk about what's the Joe? He's like, no, there's not. What
There definitely
is
is.
what's the first emotion that we should bring up? Do you want to start off strong and like, you know, or should we start on below real quick? Cause
This is whatever works. We got to go into the nitty gritty.
all right.
Let's start
Right from the
off
start?
with depression.
Oh. Oof.
I'm pretty sure we all been through it or we're all in it right now.
Yeah.
Wow, depression. Okay. What are your thoughts, Kyle, on depression?
On depression, like, you want to be more specific?
Well, I
or
mean, first diagnose what is depression.
what is depression?
Yeah. Like what are the side effects when you're going depressed, when you identify to yourself like, man, I am depressed. What does that look like? What does that feel like?
It's like losing your drive to do anything, losing motivation. Maybe like sleeping a lot, maybe stress eating, stuff
Yeah.
like that.
I agree with that. I also think it's lack of care for yourself.
Yeah, lack
Like,
of care for yourself
Yeah,
too.
you stop caring. If you stop caring about what other people think about you, no one's gonna care about what like they think about you. So
Yeah.
you stop taking care of yourself. People stop caring about you. You're kind of stuck in your own mind. It's
Yeah,
endless
that's a
cycle.
good one.
And the silence. Yeah, so one of the physical, tangible attributes of depression in my own experience, which you can probably see right now, is it's like my hygiene, right? So if I haven't shaved, if I haven't took a shower in 2 days, you know, like if I don't brush my teeth that often, those are definitely, if my room's dirty, those are definitely signs of where like, I'm like, man, like I'm in this phase right now. I got to like shake myself out of it. So one of the best ways to get out of that phase is literally like feeling fresh, feeling new, right?
Right.
So get a haircut, shave your face, brush your teeth, take a long shower, you know, smell good, you know, and definitely the last thing you want to do when you're depressed, which everyone turns to, which is funny, but anyways, you know, go out in public, be with society.
Yeah.
You know, the last thing you want to do when you're depressed is isolate yourself. Now, everyone does it. I'm a victim of it.
Yeah.
It's you want to be by yourself when you're depressed.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Is that the answer? Yeah, sometimes. Maybe that is the answer. Maybe you do need some alone time to yourself, you know,
Yeah.
because the outside world is what's getting you depressed. But for the most part, being in a depressed state, it's hard to really dig yourself out of.
Yeah.
So having a friend or a family member or just go and people watch, you know, looking at, like if you go out and people watch, you can go to, honestly, any city, basically. Palm Springs is a good one. Towards the beach is a great one. Even in Redlands, like things like that. If you sit down, just people watch, and you see people smiling, having a good time, enjoying life, loving life, You know, that energy it's contagious.
Yeah.
But so is depression. Depression is contagious.
Yeah, that's true too.
I'm sure you guys been at work and some guy just comes in and he has a really bad day. He's off, he's pissed, or he's completely sad and quiet, male or female, and then like all of a sudden like you feel down for like no reason, you know?
I think a lot of that kind of relates is you are your surroundings. Like whatever your surroundings are, you kind of adapt to that. Like if everyone around you is sad, you're gonna be sad.
You
You're
end
gonna
up
get
being
brought
sad
down.
for no reason. You're like,
Yeah.
why am I so sad?
You're just trying to match everyone's mood, and no one
Yeah.
else is happy, so it's kind of people draining your energy, so it's kind of hard to
That's
keep yours
true
up.
too, yeah.
I
So-
like how you brought up the word energy. Now some people think, man, this guy's crazy, but we'll get into it. We'll talk about energy
Yeah.
and frequency in a moment here. But depression, I mean, when you're depressed, you're really thinking about the past, right? Because something has happened to you to made you feel that way. Now, the next swing of things would be anxiety, right?
Yeah.
If you're depressed, you're looking at the past. If you have anxiety, you're thinking about the future,
Yeah.
right? But like, what are some pros about being depressed before we move on to anxiety?
I think one of the biggest pros of depression
Okay.
is you actually get to see who really cares for you.
That's
Oh.
true.
Like the ones that stick by your side when you're not taking care of yourself and tell you, hey man, I'm worried about you, or I want you to take care of yourself. Are you okay? The ones that send you the, hey man, how have you been? Like those are the ones you want to know for the rest of your life.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like
So
that.
I think being depressed is like the biggest time where you can self-reflect.
Ooh.
You know,
mhm.
especially when you're
That's
alone,
tough.
then you can talk to yourself. Well, not like literally, but like
I mean, literally, yeah, that
well, yeah,
too.
literally.
Look
but
in the mirror.
Yeah, yeah. Look in the mirror.
I am one of those guys, and so is my dad. I remember my dad, like he would go in the garage, right? And that was like his time and place to think and like talk to himself. And my mom would be like, hey, go tell your dad the food's ready. And I'll go out there and I'd not even opened the door yet. Like the door may be cracked open and I'm just listening. And he's like talking to himself.
Yeah.
I don't think that's crazy. I don't think talking to yourself is crazy. As long as you use the word I instead of your name. If you say Sam, da 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 da, Sam, da, like that's crazy. But if you're like, hey, if you tell yourself I need to do this, I need to get up, da da da, that's not crazy.
Yeah.
You know, so
No, that's just affirmations.
right. So it's just how you talk to yourself.
It's self-reflection.
Yeah,
but-
exactly.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, I mean, when I'm depressed, like you said, I'm really big on reflecting. I think everyone should reflect. I said this before, because if you don't reflect, you project, right? And what I mean by that is, if you're angry, right, and you're not reflecting on why you're angry or even noticing that you're angry, well, you're just gonna use that anger out towards other people.
Yeah, lash out.
Right, you're projecting your emotions.
Yeah.
You know, so if you're not reflecting on that and be like, okay, this is my state of mind. I'm a little pissed off right now. I shouldn't be, putting that out onto my associates or to my family members,
Yeah.
But if you're not reflecting on that, you're projecting on that. So I think that's really big. But we'll jump into anger in a few here. So we're talking about depression and what we can do with it. Like I said, make yourself feel new, clean up your room. Because they say that your bedroom is a representation of your mind, right? If your room is cluttered and trashed and just like a tornado, 9 times out of 10, that's what your mind is. Your mind is cluttered. Your mind is all that stuff. So clean up your room. You feel good about it.
Yeah.
You may not feel good doing it.
Yeah.
Sometimes I do though.
It honestly, after everyone's been depressed and your room gets a mess, and the cleaning the room part sucks, but when you're done, you feel so much weight off your
Yeah.
chest, weight off your shoulders.
It's almost a relief,
Yeah.
And so that's one of the good things about being depressed is not being in it, but once you realize that you are and what you can do, reach out to a friend or have them reach out to you, or just change things up, change the environment, things like that. Now let's swing to anxiety, right? Because anxiety, like we said earlier, is thinking about the future, right? So what are some pros and cons about anxiety?
Well, anxiety is actually a natural thing in us to protect us.
Like back in the day, before social media, before civilization, you had to worry about a jaguar coming to get you.
Exactly.
Or something like that.
No,
Yeah,
seriously.
like we didn't have protection or
Yes.
anything like that. So you're always paranoid.
Yeah.
You're always worried about what's going to happen
Yeah.
next.
You know,
Now we have protection in houses and stuff like that, and we're still stuck with that anxiety. So
yeah, exactly.
now you're just looking forward to the future and not knowing what's going to happen, and that's scary.
Do you-
Not knowing what can happen.
Do you think that it's a different type of anxiety?
Well, there are different types of anxiety. You
Yeah.
know, there's social anxiety. You know, of being afraid of what someone's going to say. You know, there's conversation anxiety, which is a little bit different. You know, if you know, for example, you're trying to talk to your crush, and you think it's not going to go the way I want to go. Conversation anxiety.
I think with like
Um,
that, it's like you just conversation anxiety. It's like you're thinking of all of the possible
Exactly.
outcomes, and
Oh,
you're thinking of
yes.
too many outcomes to even give it a chance.
Yeah. There's a lot of people who have trauma that have separation anxiety.
Yeah.
You know, being away from somebody or just being alone. You know, there's a lot of people who have those trauma.
So what kind of anxiety do you experience?
I think we all experience. Well, we'll all experience it in some way. All the different types of anxiety, especially growing up. A lot of our anxiety is going to be through our teenage years, because you know we're trying to learn how to be adults and fit into the society we don't know about. You know, we're learning math, we're learning all the science stuff, but you know they don't teach us about taxes. They don't teach us about
Yeah.
you know, what loan to get on a car. They don't teach us, you know, how to pay off that loan, how to get credit. So we all have to kind of like trust in people we don't know to kind of do that for us.
Okay.
And so, you know, once you kind of get over that hump, you're finally becoming an adult. Now you got to put it into action. Now I got to go out and do these things, you know.
What kind of anxiety do you experience?
So growing up, I had growing up I had a lot of social anxiety. I wasn't really I was moving to different schools a lot. And it just started getting tired for me to start making new friends. And so that was my issue growing up, was I had a lot of social anxiety. I didn't really kick a lot of that till I was about 19, 20, like in college. And so like, you know, I got expelled from Catholic school, and then I kept moving around because I was like in trouble a lot, and so you know it was just tiring meeting a lot of kids. I met a lot of kids growing up.
Yeah.
I was like,
yeah, I relate to that. Like,
Yeah.
I went to like 5 different elementary schools.
Yeah.
So jumping place to place, meeting new people after new people, it's hard to get attached, and
Yeah.
you're like, you finally get to one place and you're like anxious about, all right, I don't want to get attached to these people. When am I going to move again? I'm like,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, like, when's that going to happen?
It was just getting past that mindset.
Yeah.
See, I have been in a pretty good position in my life where like I never had those problems, because
Yeah.
I went to pretty much the same school throughout the years, like in terms of like 2 elementaries, but then like 1 middle school, 1 high school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't want to say the problem or the privilege to like go to different schools and like meet all these new people. I mean, you go to one school, you're going to meet new people all the time anyways. But like that feeling of like you don't want to be attached because you don't want to be sad again because you're going to have to move to another school, and like
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure most people don't like the feeling of being the new guy.
Oh, that's the worst.
That's the worst.
Yeah,
Really?
that's the worst feeling.
And that happened 8 times for me. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not the best feeling, but that's why for me personally, I've been the new guy so many times that whenever I see a new guy, I'm like, hey man, you could talk to
I'm
me.
the same
Yeah,
exact
you
way.
tell-
you can
I'm
talk
the
to
same
me.
exact way.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
because
That's awesome.
I know what it's like not being that person that has a friend or anything like that. So
Yeah.
when somebody would walk up to me and be like, hey, you're the new kid, you could chill with me, best feeling in the world. So
Yeah.
any other new guy I see, work, school, anything, I'm like, hey man, talk to me. I'm like,
Yeah.
I got you.
So you guys are good people. This is why you guys are on the show. If I had some really mean, aggressive people on the show, I can't imagine the conversations we're having. So what about you, Isaac? What is like some personal experiences that you have when it comes to anxiety?
So for me, a big thing is like when I was younger, it was like moving around, worrying about the friends and social and stuff like that. But now that I'm older, I've kind of just gotten more anxious about the future, what I'm gonna do. Like I'm getting older. I'm 23. I still have options. I'm not old, but but
Almost as old as Joe.
but I just anxiety about the future, not knowing what I'm gonna do next, not what the next step is. But I also kind of enjoy that. So sometimes I'm anxious about that, and sometimes I enjoy not what's coming next. I don't
Yeah.
like knowing what's coming next always.
Right.
I like a little bit of surprise. So
And see, that's the thing. When it comes to anxiety, right, which is comparable to nervousness,
Yeah.
right? It is the same. Your body reacts the same from anxiety with excitement.
Yeah.
Okay. For example, roller coasters. Dude, I get major anxiety.
Yeah.
I don't like roller coasters. I go on them, but the thing is, like, my heart's pounding. I get shaky. Sometimes I pass out in the line. You know?
No, seriously, like the
Yeah.
anxiety for me is the line.
It-
Once
Oh,
I'm
d-
on the roller coaster, I'm chilling.
mm-hmm.
But like the line, and then seeing a whole bunch of people scream over and over and over
Yeah,
again.
that
It's
drive.
the buildup. It's
Yeah.
the buildup.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
It's
That's
just
why
like
they make
life.
the
It's the
line
buildup.
so long.
Yeah.
But you can literally convince yourself, like, you just got to tell yourself, right? Because it's the same feeling, same reaction in the body. Your body does not know, but you're telling yourself which feeling it is.
Yeah.
So if you just say, like, when I go on roller coaster, before I even go on roller coasters, when I'm in line, or when I was in martial arts before I fought, I always, like, I have those feelings. I'm hyperventilating. I'm like pumped. I'm shaky, but I tell myself I'm excited. You know, I
Yeah.
do not like cliff jumping, but when I go cliff jumping,
Oh.
bro, I say,
Yeah.
I'm excited. And then I just, you know, you just got to do it,
Yeah.
you know? But so that's like, but that's a different type of anxiety,
Yeah.
you know? The anxiety that I experience is just like you, Isaac, is about the future. Like the careers that I have lined up and the business that I'm trying to build, like I have anxiety for sure
Yeah.
all the time, every day. But what I do to to ease my anxiety, I check off the boxes.
Yeah.
Dude, if you are nervous about the future and you have done nothing to progress in the future, yeah, you will have major anxiety.
Yeah.
But if you are checking off those boxes, putting in the work, you're not going to have as much as anxiety as you would have if you just do nothing.
And that's exactly how I live life. Is when I'm running my businesses, I give myself the perfect amount of anxiety. If I have too much anxiety, then obviously, you know, I'm going to make decisions that I'm not going to, you know.
Yeah, and like anxiety is a good thing.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
In little bits, like
Yeah.
if you have no anxiety, you don't care about what's happening.
Exactly.
You don't care. Like
Yeah.
if you have a business and you don't have anxiety about how it's gonna do, you don't care about that business.
Exactly.
So
And so that's exactly how I run everything.
When my first couple listings in real estate, when I used to go out there and have my first appointments, whatever, I would have anxiety right off the bat, right?
Yeah.
oh yeah.
I told myself, I have a bottle of like caffeine pills. I was like, hey, I'm a pop a caffeine pill, so I'm awake, I'm sharp, I'm alert, I'm focused. But with that and anxiety, dude, I was shaking, my
Oh,
hands were
yeah.
jittery, I was speaking too fast. It was
Your
like
blood
it was,
pressure is like
Yeah,
300.
nice to meet you.
right, it was
Yeah.
so like the best thing to do is just relax.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know, just stay calm. But I convinced myself, hey, caffeine's gonna make me focus, and it just got me more anxiety. You know,
Yeah.
it's crazy. But again, when it comes to anxiety, checking off the boxes, doing something, moving forward helps,
Yeah.
right? Going back to depression, if you literally did nothing for the day, and you felt like nothing, are you surprised? Right?
No.
You feel like nothing because you've done nothing.
Yeah.
I had a friend who, I mean, I reached out to him multiple times. He just haven't said anything back. So I hope he's doing good. But he was depressed. And he was doing nothing every single day. Absolutely nothing. And it's like, no wonder. Like, bro, get up. Like when we had him help us, you know, use a chainsaw to chop down trees or like do some work or like stuff like that, like he felt good. Like I remember him like, oh dude, like I want to start working out with you guys. I want to start doing this. I want to start doing that. But when he got in that state of doing nothing all day and becoming lazy, like he started getting depressed, you know? And it's like there was a cloud inside the house, you know, his hygiene was bad. And I was like, dude, you gotta make some W's, bro. Make some wins.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To me, what I consider a win is waking up in the morning, you know, cleaning your room, reading 10 pages a day, going to the gym. Like you don't have to close deals. You don't have to make money. You just have to do things that literally make your life better. That's a win.
Yeah.
You know? And so I always tell people, hey, stack some W's today, bro. Like,
Yeah.
how many wins have you made? It's 12 o'clock. How many wins? You know, some people, they wake up at 12 and they're like, you know?
Half the day's gone.
Yeah, exactly. But
Yeah.
with depression and with anxiety, doing something about it, moving forward is always great,
Yeah.
you know?
Mhm.
So we have about 2 more minutes before we go on our half-hour break. And when we come back, we're going to be talking about anger and we're going to talk about happiness, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Because even happiness has its cons.
It does.
And
Oh, definitely.
And I can't wait to talk about my personal experiences with happiness. But with anxiety and depression, what's your guys' last thoughts on that?
Well, I think, you know, having a certain amount of both is healthy. Realizing what state you're in is healthy, and realizing that never being afraid to ask for help in both states is healthy.
Yeah.
And so, you know, the thing about anxiety, and like I said, like, you know, running my businesses, I'm bringing back one of my businesses this year with my business partner and my best friend Cody, that we stopped in 2019 because of COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And so we both have this anxiety going into it, but we both are holding each other accountable. We need to stop worrying about what's going to happen, and we need to start saying every day that we wake up, we're going to throw the show, and it's going to be good, you know?
Yeah. And my thoughts kind of are just, they're both necessity.
Yeah.
You can't enjoy happiness without depression.
Facts.
You can't enjoy
Yep.
being calm without anxiety. And
Yeah.
I love that. I love that.
think it's just the people in your corner and the experiences you have,
Yeah.
they kind of help you get through it. And there's nothing wrong with being a little bit depressed or a little bit anxious. Even when you are extremely anxious or extremely depressed, like, you're going to get through it.
Yeah.
But I just do think it's necessity, and everyone learns and grows from it.
Yeah.
So,
When we talk about emotions, these are human nature abilities.
Yeah.
I don't want to call them flaws. And it's something that we all go through in life.
And they protect us.
It protects us.
Yeah.
We just can't let it control us.
mhm.
Right. So that's our biggest thing. Whether you're going depression, anxiety, or even if you're in a state of just pure, what's the word? Just, who knows? I mean,
Like bliss or what?
yeah,
bliss.
yeah, a state of bliss. You know, you're not going to be in that state forever.
Right.
You know, so just always reflect, always control your emotions.
Yeah.
And just keep pushing forward. All right, you guys, it is half past the hour. You guys are listening to Whatever Works on KCAA 1050 AM and Express 106.5 FM. I'm your host, Sam Works.
I'm Kyle Kerrigan.
And I'm Isaac Moore.
And we'll be back in 5 minutes, so stay tuned. Keep driving around. If you have to go to take a trip to the grocery store or fill up your gas, go do it. And don't forget to download the app so you can hear us wherever you're at.
Good, like I should. When in dark, I walk around the neighborhood, feeling blessed, never stressed.
From the Bureau of Economic Geology, this is Earth Date. Eyes are not just windows to the soul. They've been key to the evolution of life as we know it. Predators develop binocular vision to give them better depth perception when hunting prey. As a response, prey developed eyes on the sides or tops of their heads for a wide field of view to detect predators. A raptor can spot a rabbit from more than a mile away. Butterflies see ultraviolet light to find flowers and mates. But there was a time long ago when life on Earth was blind. Then, about 500 million years ago, trilobites evolved. Much like today's horseshoe crabs, they scuttle around the ocean floor looking for marine worms or carrion to scavenge. And to help find food, they began to develop eyes. This amazing new capability allowed them to spread across the globe, adapt to different environments, and diversify into as many as 20,000 species, ranging in size from a fingertip to a trash can lid. Trilobite eyes forced other organisms to evolve defense mechanisms like locomotion and camouflage and eyes to compete with them for food and to avoid being eaten. Some scientists think that trilobite eyes encouraged the explosion of diverse life forms that led to the dinosaurs. Vision enabled trilobites to dominate the Earth for more than 100 million years, and although they eventually went extinct, vision has survived across the millennia. So next time you use your eyes, thank the lowly trilobite for getting the party started. I'm Scott Tinker, and this has been your Date with Earth.
Earth Date is produced by the Bureau of Economic Geology at the University of Texas at Austin. Earth Date is researched by Julie Hennings, written by Harry Lynch, and distributed by Mark Blunt and Casey Walker. For more stories, follow us on Facebook or visit earthdate.org.
Tahibo Tea Club's original Pure Pau Arco Super Tea helps build red corpuscles in the blood which carry oxygen to our organs and cells. Our organs and cells need oxygen to regenerate themselves. The immune system needs oxygen to develop, and cancer dies in oxygen. So the tea is great for healthy people because it helps build the immune system, and it can truly be miraculous for someone fighting a potentially life-threatening disease due to an infection, diabetes, or cancer. The tea is also organic and naturally caffeine-free. A 1-pound package of tea is $49.95, which includes shipping. To order, please visit TahiboTeaClub.com. Tahibo is spelled T like Tom, A-H-E-E-B like boy, O, then continue with the word tea and then the word club. The complete website is TahiboTeaClub.com, or call us at 818-610-8088, Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. California time. That's 818-610-8088, TahiboTeaClub.com.
In these trying times, many people are depressed and lost because the future of our society is up in the air. If you're turning to substance abuse because you're feeling there is no hope, we have a way for you to see the light. SAD, or Stop Abusing Drugs, is a nonprofit organization that will help you, at no cost to you, stop abusing drugs. Founded by Tony Navarchi, SAD will refer you to the top detox doctors in your area. SAD will pay every and any cost for you, including doctor visits, counseling, and medications. If you need help, SAD is there for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you or a loved one needs help, or if you have a suggestion or idea for Tony, you can reach out to him by calling 844-493-3386. That's 844-493-3386. Or email Tony at tony@saddetox.com. That's Tony at SADDETOX.com.
There's never been a better time for men to be whoever they want to be. Yet it's never been less clear who men really are. Guys Guy Radio, starring author and Guys Guy Robert Manni, is coming to KCAA every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Whether it's relationships, sex, wellness, or spirituality, join Robert as he interviews the experts and shares his insights on building a world where men and women can be at their best. Guys Guy Radio. Better men, better world.
Feeling good, like I should. When in Durga, walk around the neighborhood. Feeling blessed, never stressed. Got that sunshine on my Sunday best.
Welcome back, everybody. Happy Sunday. You're listening to Whatever Works on KCAA 1050 AM and Express 106.5 FM. I'm your host, Sam Works.
I'm Kyle Kerrigan.
And I'm Isaac Moore.
Yes, and if you guys are just tuning in, the first half of the hour, definitely go check it out. It's something that we all can relate to. We can all connect. We're talking about emotions here, and the first half hour, we're talking about depression and anxiety. And what it looks like, what it feels like, and what you can do to really dig yourself out of that rut. Joe, don't go anywhere because we're gonna have you tune it. No, I'm just kidding. He has some pasta. He has to warm up. Anyways, so this next half, I'm really excited about, and I'm gonna go off a little bit of tangent and talk a bit about going back to depression and all that stuff. But this second half of the segment, we're gonna be talking about anger and happiness, the pros and cons between the two. There are cons to happiness and there are pros to anger. So without further ado, I want to hear your guys' opinions on the emotions. Let's talk about happiness first. That's a good
Okay.
one. All right, go ahead.
So you want the cons of happiness?
Yeah, give me the cons.
Cons of happiness. Okay. I think the biggest con for happiness is like, probably when it's like an ego boost. I think sometimes, and so especially to people who are like, I studied a little bit of psychology in college, and there's a certain type of person that's called a people pleaser. Okay, so they feed off the energy of other people. Comedians, are a big one. People who go out there, they want to be the life of the party. They want to walk into wherever they're going. Oh, hey, oh, look, it's Isaac. Oh, yo.
Yeah.
Isaac knows that experience.
Yeah,
for
that
sure.
happens a little bit.
Isaac!
Yeah. And so,
I've been there a few times.
And so the issue with that is like, you're never going to meet anyone genuine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like you said, life of the party. Definitely, Sam and I have been in some situations where
Situations. I want to call them situations.
good nights where I just walk into a place and everyone's like, "Oh, it's Isaac," blah blah blah, and like I'll get their numbers and I'll be like, "They're not real friends."
No, exactly.
Yeah, they're not real friends. It's not genuine. It's just in the moment. Let's have fun. Let's have a good time. But it's not actual happiness.
Right.
I'd say it's more temporary than long term.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Instant gratification.
Yes. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
In my personal experience, when I'm happy, this is what I have to control, okay? Is making promises. Man, when I'm feeling good, let me smell it. Not bad. This is Joe brings pasta. Yeah, Joe brings pasta every
skills.
weekend. It's the same pasta. I never had it before. He would not let me even taste it. It's his food, but it smells pretty good. But anyways, yeah. So my problem is when I'm happy, I make promises that I can't keep.
Yeah.
And it's because, when I'm in the state of happiness, all I want to do is give. I want to give you my attention. I want to give you my happiness. I want to give you promises that make you feel good. I want to give you it all. But then when I'm in a normal state or I'm out of, the following day when I'm not in that emotional state of mind, I'm like, oh man, I promise I'll drive 2 hours away to go see you this weekend. Like,
Oh,
he's
letting them give a
man,
taste.
Man,
First time ever.
it's pretty good. Thank you. Thanks, Joe, for the pasta.
I think another thing is like your bank account too. Because like when you're happy and you're feeling it and you're in your mood, you want to share that wealth.
Mm-hmm.
I remember I got my very first paycheck. I had my very first job. I said, I'm balling.
Oh, dude,
My-
that first $600 or $400
Yeah,
bucks.
dude.
Yeah, dude,
Dude,
you
like-
feel like you're on top of the world.
Dude.
I just got paid.
Yeah.
And I remember this. I just got my license too. And so I'm going to Starbucks. I said, you know what? I'm going to pay for the guy behind me. And it was
Big order.
and it was an $87 order.
Oh, yeah.
So a third of my check, I went that whole day.
Wow.
I just got paid in like the afternoon, and at 4 o'clock, a third of it was gone.
Like imagine that lady was like, the guy pulls up like, hey, before you order, the guy in front of you is gonna pay. Then he like looks at his kids. All right, what do you want? Like 86. No one spends $86 at Starbucks.
I've
like,
never spent more than $30 at Starbucks.
Well, here's the thing, and I should have had more insight. It was Suburban that pulled up, and it looked like it was a full house.
So you didn't even look back.
No.
You just felt good. You're like,
I
hey.
just felt good. And I looked back. I said, there's like 7 kids in that car.
Wow.
That's rough. That's rough.
Yeah.
They
But
said,
you know
"Thank
what? I still did it.
And it makes you feel good. I mean, it doesn't make you feel good when you look at your account, but it makes you feel good as a person.
Yeah.
Like morally speaking.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
But back to like the downsides of happiness. I think one thing is you get blinded by happiness.
Yeah.
You stop seeing the bad things. Like, let's say you're happy with a person. You ignore the bad things because you're happy about the good things. And you don't necessarily think about how the bad things are going to affect you in the long run.
Yeah.
Right.
You don't really weigh the
Pros and cons. Yeah,
yeah.
you're just, all you know is, I'm happy right now. I don't care about the bad things. Why should I care? I'm happy. And then it's going to bite you right where you don't want it to. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
But I think you definitely get blinded by happiness, and then it's gonna come around to get you at the end. And once that realization hits, you're like, "What was I thinking the entire time?" Like, all the signs were there, but you were happy, so you didn't care.
Wow. Dang, I didn't know there were so many cons to happiness, guys.
Yeah.
I thought it
You know what's crazy? Is the number one emotion that leaves after happiness?
sadness.
Depression.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think we overdo it.
Yeah.
You
Is
know-
when you go over done and then you fall down that hill. Now you're at rock bottom.
Well, it's because you're at the top of the top, and then once that emotion leaves, you just
that
you're
roller
all the way
coaster,
down,
man.
and it's hard to find that happiness when you're down at the bottom.
Yeah.
So.
Wow. Well, okay, so we talked about, there was like four things that we talked, the cons with happiness. Let's talk about the good things about happiness, because that is a good thing.
First of all, it's being happy.
Yes.
Being happy, that's just a good thing in general.
You're happy. You're not stuck in like a earth mentality, like mindset, like materialistic, like you do give when you're happy, right? Which is good. Like, I don't think you should be having the desire to keep things to yourself or take things, you know? And also it keeps you young.
Yeah, it keeps you young, healthy.
Mentally, physically, you know, all that good stuff. Being happy is a good thing. It's a great thing.
Yeah.
It's, you know, everything has to be rationalized, you know, or rationed. I shouldn't say rationalized, but rationed. So let's talk about anger.
Anger. Well, so personally, my experience with anger is there's a couple different types of people and different types of anger. Like for me, I'm a very easygoing guy.
Hey Joe, we have a caller. You want to? Probably Farhan. Let's see. Let's just give it 1 second, guys. We might have a caller coming in right now, so we'll find out right now.
No.
All right, you guys are listening to Whatever Works on the radio. May I ask who we're speaking with?
No, you may not.
So what? You got a question, comment, concern?
I missed the first half, so I wanted to find out, did you gentlemen talk about happiness being connected to circumstances, which is why happiness goes in and out so often, because we can be happy in one moment, and then a phone call can happen, or somebody cuts you off on the freeway, and all that happiness has gone out the window.
Okay. So I'd like to answer that with saying, like, it's very easy to highlight the negative parts of your day. So when you start your day off good and everything's going right, one bad thing happens, your mood goes down. And then you're down there and happy things will happen and you're like, I don't care, I'm already in a bad mood. So I think it's hard to get out of that mindset. And even when you are happy, having a good day all day, sometimes just one thing will happen and it'll put you in that mood and it's hard to get out of it.
Well, I think that goes back to like what we were just saying with you know, being up here when you're happy.
Right.
You know, when you're at a high level and all of a sudden then you start feeling depressed. Now you're falling down. It's the gravity. You know, you can feel your body and your emotions shift. You know.
So the person who called in, I just want to reiterate what you said, and correct me if I'm wrong. You're saying that happiness is connected to conditions of experiences in your life.
Yes, happiness is connected to circumstances or concerns or worries, which is why it's hard to manage, because unless you are connected to your emotional state, and people don't realize that we have feelings and emotions and we don't have to become them. But sometimes the natural reaction is a negative context. So being able to, that's why they say joy, no one can steal your joy, but because joy is generated from within. But also happiness can be generated from within, but you have to separate it from a circumstance or whatever that is. But a lot of times we don't realize that because we're stimulate automatic reaction type of machines.
Would you say, because Isaac was talking earlier that you can have a good day all day and then one thing can ruin your day, do you think that happiness is one of our weaker components of emotions when it comes to having it change or alter?
Yeah, definitely, because again, we really can't control our emotions. Like you can't control your emotions. So that's why if something happens, we don't realize that we have a say before we react to a negative out of our mouth. You can actually stop and think before you react, and then that's how you can I won't say control your emotions, but you can control what that negative thing means about you. So sometimes a lot of people think, well, if I go over here, I'll be happy over there. Or if I do this, I'll be happy. But what if you can't get to that spot? What if you can't get to the beach that day to be happy? So then you have to generate that happiness within yourself wherever you are. So it's layers to happiness. That's why they say the joy is in the Lord, if you believe in that. But also, joy is just pure being joyful without any reason or not.
Yeah, that's very.
We can't control our emotions, but we have a say in what we make them mean about how we react to those emotions.
Man, that's pretty good. Well, hey, thank you for calling in. I think that hopefully that gave a lot of people insight about happiness, because realistically, I didn't think about where happiness is connected, and it is connected to most things in life, events, circumstances, like he said.
People in your life, yeah.
And it is one of our emotions that we do have to reflect heavy on.
Yeah.
Reflect more than other emotions. Like depression can come from literally nothing, being nothing, doing nothing. But happiness usually tends to come from circumstances, like he said. And so I want to thank you for opening my mind to that in my eyes, because that's something that I can definitely reflect on.
Yeah, thank you for that.
Thank you.
We'll talk more later.
Sounds
Appreciate y'all.
Sounds
Yeah,
good.
of course.
Thank
Have
you.
a good night, man.
So I want to jump into anger, right?
Yeah.
Because anger, as a lot of people see it as a negative thing, but I want to talk about both sides of it, the pros and the cons.
Yeah.
So are there any pros to anger that you guys can think of?
So let me jump into it real quick by saying that I've experienced like a lot of different type of people, and I would say that there's like, for instance, me, I'm a very easygoing guy, and it takes a lot for me to get angry or for me to show it. And when I do, I explode.
Yeah.
And there's also the other type of people that it just takes one wrong thing and it sets them off. But the one thing that's in common is you speak what's true on your mind.
Right.
Even if deep down you don't want to admit it, when you hit that point, you're going to let the truth out. And I'm an easygoing guy. I don't like to upset people.
Yeah.
So I don't want to tell them something that's going to hurt their feelings. So I'll retract saying something.
Right.
But when I snap, they're going to know
I'm
the
the
truth.
exact same way.
Yeah, they're going to know the truth. And in the end, whether it's a good way of telling them or not, it's good to be truthful.
Yeah.
It's good to get that emotion out because you don't want to be bottled up. And same thing with people that snap. Like, they're just going to tell you how it is. So it's a good way to get the truth out.
Yeah, and like especially finding like outlets too.
Yeah.
Some people play sports, some people box, some people do jiu-jitsu.
Mm-hmm.
It's about channeling that aggression, because just like anxiety, it's a fight or flight mode, and anger is our fight. When we're feeling defensive and we're feeling that, our bodies are getting jeopardized, that is when we're angry. The flight is the anxiety, right? Leaving the situation, going into a better place, kind of like what our caller was just saying, with happiness. Sometimes people go, oh, I'm in this area specifically because it makes me happy, but it's only temporary. And same thing with being angry, And so I think the biggest thing is understanding that it's a natural component in your life, but not let it control you.
Right. And the thing with anger is when you're angry, obviously it's a matter of the situation.
Yeah.
Right. And anger really pushes you to change the situation.
Yeah.
Whether it's change your environment or change your problem or change the people around you. Like, it's an emotion that I don't want to say motivates and I don't want to say controls you, but it kind of pushes you in a different direction.
Yeah.
Right. But the thing is, when you're talking about channeling, this is great, right? Because some people are like, if they're like talking about like Christians, right? They're like, oh, God says that anger is a sin. No, it's what you do with the anger, right? Because when you're angry, you make bad decisions most of the time.
Yeah.
So in the Bible, it's like, it's not being angry, it's what you do when you're angry. Do you hurt somebody? Do you vandalize? Do you
Get
do all this stuff?
something like that.
And
yeah.
channeling it does help, and it is real. Like my boy is yoked. He's a big dog. And I asked, I was like, bro, how'd you get that big? He's like, well, my family. His family, like, he has really bad relationships with his dad. And he's like, when I go to the gym, I just think about him. And he just pushes that weight. And I'm like, that's crazy. Good for you for not, taking it out on your dad or taking it out on somebody else,
Yeah.
But channeling your emotions to be efficient in life is super hard to do because it's all emotional based, right? But if you can master that, if you can master your emotions, master channeling your emotions to do something better, it's great. You were talking earlier about, we only have a couple minutes, so I got to talk really fast here.
All right.
I got 16 ounces of coffee in me. Anyways, you were talking about energy.
Yeah.
Right? And where that energy puts out and stuff. Okay. We're going to talk about this later down the road in our next couple of shows, the next time we have time to have these types of talks again.
Yeah.
But I do want to talk about frequency, okay? When you're depressed, you're at a low frequency state, okay? And there is a frequency graph that you can look up online, and it tells you what emotions and what category everything is in. When you're in a low frequency state, you are in a state of desire, okay? When you're depressed and all this stuff, you're selfish. All you want is things for you, you know, when you're sad, da-da-da-da. Like, when I'm in a low frequency state, drugs, porn, and like other things, that's what comes to my mind, okay? When I'm in a high frequency state, like we talked earlier, all I do is I want to give. If I have money, I'll give it to you. I'll help you out. If you're walking by, I'll open the door for you. I will help you in every way, so your energy is what puts out your frequency. And depending on what state of frequency you're at, gives you certain categories of emotions.
Yeah.
And again, when I talk about reflecting, like, before you make a comment, before you talk to anyone, hey, think of two things: your emotions and your thoughts, right? What are you going to say? How do you feel?
Yeah.
Because that can really make it or break it. So we only got about a minute left. I want to talk about that later in the future here. But what are your guys' final thoughts on emotions overall?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that question? We had a comment on IG.
Okay.
Great episode. Signed, no name caller. Okay, that was Ron.
All right, sounds good. All right, Isaac, final thoughts.
So there's a lot of emotions, and I just think they're there for a reason. There's pros and cons of everyone, and I think they're just all about balance. If you can find that balance, that's how you're going to find joy in your life. So
I like it.
Yeah.
Kyle?
For me, therapy. Everyone needs it, even if you feel like you don't need it.
Mm-hmm.
Therapy is gym for your mind. Is gym for your mind. You need to work out your physical body and your mental state.
Nice.
That way you can control your emotions, the best way you can.
And my final thought, I said it once, I said it twice, I'll say it again. Reflect. Reflect on your emotions, reflect on your life, and if you don't reflect, you project. All right, guys? So thank you guys so much for listening. You're listening to Whatever Works on KCAA. Stay tuned for the 8 o'clock show with Farron, and we'll see you guys next week. I'm Sam Works.
Kyle Kerrigan.
Isaac Moore.
Thanks, guys. Happy Sunday. Stay blessed.
Feeling blessed, never stressed. Got that sunshine on my
can't be everything to everyone, or can we?